Welcome to This Explainer. Listen, if you're a maker, a creator, or an artisan, you already know that absolute, pure joy of bringing something beautiful to life with your own two hands. It's magic, right? But you probably also know the late night stress of trying to figure out how to actually make a real living doing it. Well, today, I'm talking directly to you. We're going to map out exactly how to transform your craft from a chaotic, sometimes really stressful hobby into a highly profitable, well-architected commerce engine. We are completely taking the guesswork out of the handmade business model. Okay, let's dive into this. We are going to navigate through 5 structured stages today to turn your creative passion into a sustainable, breathing business. We'll start by laying the foundation, move right into the math, explore the story and the sale, figure out the scale, and finally, look at the bottom line. So let's kick things off with stage 1, the foundation, and confront what we call the handmade reality. To build a truly solid foundation, we absolutely have to talk about mindset, because what you're doing is incredibly unique. As a handmade business owner, you are literally both the manufacturer and the brand. Now, that gives you ultimate creative control, which is awesome, but it also creates a massive bottleneck for scaling up. Notice the hobbyist mindset here. This is where so many insanely talented makers get trapped. They try to compete purely on offering a low price. But let me tell you, competing on price against mass-produced factory goods, that is a game you are always going to lose. Instead, we need a complete mindset shift. True handmade brands win because of their uniqueness, their high quality, and the emotional connection they create with the buyer. The whole business model is about translating that unique story into a sustainable premium price. And a huge part of that business mindset is knowing exactly who you're actually making things for. You can't just sell jewelry or candles to everyone. It just doesn't work. You need to find a tight, very specific niche. Think about clear, hyper-specific customer profiles. We're talking brides, hardcore anime fans, new parents, obsessed pet owners, or even niche spiritual communities. Why does this matter so much? Because a tight niche is exactly how you get discovered. Whether it's the search algorithm on Etsy or Amazon Handmade, or just a customer wandering past your table at a crowded craft fair, catering to a specific group ensures your products instantly stand out, instead of just drowning in an endless sea of generic items. Right, that brings us to stage 2, the math. We need to translate that beautiful craft of yours into actual, bankable profit. Because, let's be real, creativity alone is simply not enough to sustain you. Your products have to actually make money in the real world. And the fastest way makers lose money is by ignoring this one little word: overheads. These are the hidden, sneaky costs of doing business. We're talking about those weekend market stall fees, the 20-cent listing fee every time you post on Etsy, the endless rolls of bubble wrap and cardboard boxes, and of course the commissions those platforms take right off the top. If your current pricing strategy is just looking at the cost of your clay or your wax, these overheads are silently draining your profit margins without you even realizing it. Instead, you actually need to be calculating your true product cost. And guess what? It's not just the physical supplies. It is the combined total of those material costs plus your time cost. How many actual hours or minutes did it take you to physically sit there and make that piece? Your time has a monetary value. The most successful, experienced makers don't just charge for materials and time, they price their items at several times their base material cost. That multiplier ensures they cover their time, pay those hidden overheads we just talked about, and actually take home a living wage. If you aren't doing this, honestly, you're effectively paying your customers to take your art. Okay, now that our math is looking right, let's move into stage 3, the story and the sale, because this is exactly how we justify that profitable pricing to the customer. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it shows a healthy business ecosystem. You simply cannot rely on just one single place to sell your goods. You need a hybrid channel mix. You've got a slice for online marketplaces like Etsy, which is great. It brings you ready-made traffic, but it comes with high competition and fees. Then you have a slice for your own website like Shopify, where you fully control the brand and keep the margins, but hey, you have to drive your own traffic. Add in a slice for local craft fairs to get that instant cash and real-world customer feedback, and maybe a nice slice of wholesale. Mixing these channels completely smooths out the peaks and valleys of your income. That way, a slow month on one platform doesn't completely tank your whole business. But across all those different channels, how do you actually convince someone to buy from you instead of a big, cheap box store? The answer is your story. Customers can always find a cheaper alternative somewhere else. Your story is your true value add. You've got to share the behind the scenes. Tell them why you started making these items in the first place. Show them your messy, chaotic workbench and your favorite tools. Broadcast your brand values loud and clear. For example, if you make candles, actually showing your eco-friendly, slow-made, hand-poured process? That instantly transforms what is essentially just a simple piece of wax into a premium, meaning-backed gift that customers are genuinely thrilled to pay top dollar for. Which leads us directly into stage 4, the scale, marketing and production systems. Let's figure out how we take this profitable, storage-driven product and actually grow it without totally losing our minds. Let's look at how this builds a continuous loop of visibility, what we like to call the marketing engine, because with handmade goods, it's simple. People literally cannot buy what they never see. Step 1 is social media, using short-form video to show off your fascinating process. Step 2 is an email list. All the craft experts emphasize that your email list is a crucial asset that you actually own, and it's absolutely perfect for announcing exclusive, limited product drops. Step 3 is market presence, getting out there and building a localized, loyal fan base in person. And finally, Step 4 is marketplace SEO, optimizing your titles and tags so you actually show up when people search. When you get these 4 elements running together like a machine, you create this reliable system where you can release small collections and confidently know, for sure, that they will sell out. The look. A great marketing engine is totally useless if your production is a complete mess behind the scenes. You need systems here too. You have to implement batch production. Making similar items all at once saves massive amounts of time per piece compared to making one item all the way from start to finish. You also need inventory planning, so you have just enough to ship without tying all your hard-earned cash up in unsold stock sitting in your garage. And you need efficient, lightweight, and safe packaging. Mastering these logistics is what actually allows you to step away from the chaotic, last-minute stress of boxing up orders at midnight and lets you get back to the actual creative work you love doing. I want to pause here for a quick second. Ask yourself this. How do you grow when your time is completely maxed out? This is the ultimate handmade wall. Even with batching, there are still only so many hours in a day, and you only have 2 hands. Your time is the ultimate limiting factor here. So, what is the architectural fix for this bottleneck? You solve it by adding scalable income streams. Streams that don't rely on you physically hand-making thousands of cheap items. This is how you finally raise your income ceiling. You can sell digital products, right? Like the patterns, the templates, or printables of your original designs. Those can be sold infinitely while you sleep with 0 extra labor. You could teach workshops and classes to share your expertise. You can take on custom, highly premium-priced work, meaning you make way more money for doing far less volume. Or you can do wholesale bulk orders for boutiques, which guarantees you steady, predictable income. You really don't have to just sell one physical widget to one person for the rest of your career. And that brings us to our final stage, stage 5, the bottom line, and transitioning your mindset to CEO. So the crucial point is, if you want to know if your business architecture is actually structurally sound, you need a new dashboard. You must be diligently tracking these 4 metrics. 1, what is your exact cost per item, including your time? 2, what's your average selling price? 3, what is your gross margin per piece, meaning what cash is actually left over after all your expenses? And 4, how many orders per month are you getting across all your different channels? If you objectively watch these numbers, you completely eliminate the guesswork. The math will literally tell you if your business is viable. Ultimately, it is time to shift from just making cute things to running a small but very serious creative business. It's a massive shift in how you see yourself. It means finally valuing your time, telling your unique story loudly and proudly, and building architectural systems that work for you rather than against you. For way too long, so many amazing makers have essentially been paying out of their own pockets through their unpaid late nights and completely uncalculated overheads just to share their art with the world. But it absolutely does not have to be that way. Are you ready to stop subsidizing your craft and start architecting your commerce? Take these systems, build your foundation, know your math, and go turn your passion into the thriving, profitable business it deserves to be. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll see you next time.